I'm Tony Beshara, and I'm going to help you do better at finding a job.
He is listed by Fordyce Magazine as the #1 headhunting career placement guy in the country. The #1 guy. His name's Tony Beshara.
You know, when we spoke on the phone, you gave me a little bit of your story. What brought you to Texas, and kind of positions have you been looking for? Give us some background.
You know, I was born and raised in West Virginia. There isn't a whole lot going on. I had graduated college and wanted to go try something new, so I had some family connections in Texas, and the economy was supposed to be really good up here. Yeah. So I came to Texas.
Okay. What kind of a job had you been looking for?
I feel like I could do so many things, but I don't really have much targeted. My background experience is mainly restaurant industry. I have a little bit in sales and a little bit in production artists, like design work, but mainly restaurants. So I've been trying to stay with the restaurant thing, and I'd like to break out of actually working in the restaurant and maybe do something with like distributing or more on a corporate level for restaurants, but I haven't seemed to get callbacks yet.
So you moved to Texas and went into the waitress business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, it's what I know. I know I'm good at it.
Okay. What makes you good at it?
I'm great with people. I have good customer service. I have great memory. I, organized and, know what I'm doing.
Okay. Do you plan to make that a career?
I would like not to.
Okay, all right. So how do you think you ought to get out of it?
I don't know. I need to find something else that utilizes my skills, that gets me out, that I can be just as good at and feel as confident doing my job as I do in that restaurant industry.
Okay, well, what kind of things have you thought of?
Like distributing, I thought would be really great.
How many distributors have you called?
About 4 or 5, okay. And then whenever I have a distributor come into the restaurant, I always kind of network with them and try to see if they're hiring or what's going on with them.
Gotten any interviews that way yet?
I haven't gotten an interview yet.
Well, one of the reasons that we had you in here is that a lot of people do move to Texas thinking that this is the land of milk and honey. Then they find out it's just as hard here as it is anywhere else. And a lot of people do what you do. They get into these lower end positions. Not so much lower end, because I have a lot of respect for that. And most everybody does have a lot of respect for servers, believe me. You don't get paid anywhere near what your job is worth. The only issue is if you stay in it knowing that you can do better. And you can do better than this, okay?
I believe so.
All right. And calling 3 or 4 or 5 people isn't going to make it. You can't just sit there and say, well, I ought to be better than this, because you're going to be being a waitress now for 10 more years if you operate that way.
I don't want that to happen.
Okay, well, then again, which is a greater pain? Having to pick up the phone and running the risk of calling somebody and getting rejected, okay?
Rejection stings.
Yeah, or sticking into what you're doing and waiting tables, which is a greater pain.
More pain, more gain.
More pain, more gain. Okay. And after a while, honestly, it's not that bad. You get used to it. I mean, just another no is another way to get to a yes. Okay? It takes an average of 15, 20 interviews to even get an offer. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and it's hard work. And you got to make 100, 110, 115 calls before you get 2 people that'll talk to you.
And I think I've been relying too much on internet websites, on sending out applications that way, and then I swear my resume goes to Narnia or something. I never hear anything from it.
Never hear it. Yeah, right. It goes to Narnia. Black hole, right? Yeah. Everybody else is doing the same thing. Every time you send a resume, 143 other people are sending a resume. Now, you're young, you're energetic, you've got chutzpah. I mean, you've got guts. You moved from Virginia or West Virginia? West Virginia. And you move all the way to Texas. You don't know anybody from squat. If you've got the courage and the guts to do that, you've got the courage and the guts to pick up the phone, call somebody, just not even in the food business, but any kind of business. Talk to customer service, sales, that kind of thing. Start getting interviews. I'd even consider going in as an administrative person. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm looking for a job. How do you do this?
That's not far off. Okay? I'm going to give you copies of my books. The script is in there. I can give you the script. I can't give you the courage to do it. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. So we'll give you our books. I'll give this to one of my associates, and then you call me next Wednesday and tell me what your progress has been.
That sounds great.
The lesson here is people really think they're going out and trying to find a job, and they're not, okay? They sit there with some lousy job or a job they don't really like, and they say, well, I sent a few resumes. They just don't take enough massive action. This poor young lady is going to wind up being in restaurants for the rest of her life if she doesn't do something about it. There's two things that happen. People either have inertia or they just don't know what to do. Part of what we're trying to teach here is what people should do and how they should do it and how they would go about doing it. We've seen this in the number of the people that we've interviewed. They just don't know what to do. It's not that complicated. And once they learn to do it, all they have to do is take the massive action, go out, get the interviews, and sell themselves. Sarah's a real good example of what thousands of people do, and they're always going to be where they are when they don't change what they do.